I mean, it's been an amazing response, really bigger and better than I could have hoped for.
And yet, as you know, Governor, some are concerned that the financial commitments are not sustainable over the long haul when the federal government no longer props up the Medicaid expansion here in Kentucky. Do you have concerns about the long-term viability of what we're getting into?
Not at all, because I looked at that before I made the decision. You know, before I expanded the Medicaid program, I brought PricewaterhouseCoopers and the Urban Institute at the University of Louisville in, and I said, folks, I need you to look at this for me from an economic standpoint.
If there are parts of the Affordable Care Act that you agree with, and as a physician you have said that you do agree with some of those, as a Republican, and many Republicans agree, portability, prohibiting redlining people who have pre-existing conditions, that sort of thing. Why then does the entire act need to be repealed in your view?
I don't think that we went in the right direction. I think really Obamacare took us in a direction of more government control. What I would like to see is more competition. I would like to see more consumer spending so you drive prices down.
In this case, the only country that I can discern that supports our effort is France.
So to get your vote at this point, you're convinced the president needs to do more to get international backing for any action?
Absolutely, international backing, and even more important than that, the President of the United States as Commander-in-Chief needs to get the American people to buy into this. My constituents are overwhelmingly opposed to intervention. The American people are not on board. We should not.
What are they telling you?
They're telling us that this is not in the national security interest of the United States.
WKYT's Bill Bryant has the bottom line.
Good evening. The filing window opens this week for candidates seeking office next year, and former Lexington Mayor Teresa Isaac is hinting that her name could be on the ballot. Appearing at WKYT to talk about a charitable event she's involved with, I asked her if she plans to run for something in 2014. She said you never know until the filing deadline. That's in late January. There's some speculation that Isaac will run for council at large. The top vote getter in that becomes vice mayor. Isaac was vice mayor before being elected mayor in 2002 and then defeated for re-election in 2006. 2012 Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney has stirred up talk after leaving off Tea Party favorite Texas Senator Ted Cruz when he talked about serious White House contenders in 2016. On a network program over the weekend, Romney said that someone like New Jersey Governor Chris Christie stands out as one of the strongest lights for the GOP. He also mentioned his former running mate, Congressman Paul Ryan, former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, and Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Reports indicate a tell-all book coming out this week will say that Romney passed on Christie as his running mate in part because of his obesity at the time. Kentucky voters get this year off, but many states hold elections tomorrow. Next door in Virginia, Democrat Terry McAuliffe has been leading in polls for governor in the Old Dominion. Republican Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli trails McAuliffe by about 7 points in polls just before tomorrow's vote. Our in-depth interview with Lexington Mayor Jim Gray is now available on demand at KentuckyNewsmakers.com. Bill Bryant, WKYT. Senator, if we reset federal spending to much lower levels, and as you would like to see done in this federal government to be smaller, where would we ever in this country get the wherewithal to sit down and talk about what needs to be cut?
Well, first we have to sit down together. So I've been proposing for about a year and a half that Republicans and Democrats have a joint lunch at least once every week or two, maybe once a month, but where we all sit down at the same lunch and have this kind of discussion and hash it out.
You can put that together with it being the right thing to do for our people, and we moved ahead.
Are you concerned then that there may be tweaks and changes to the health care law with the frustrations that people have had nationally that may impact what you see as success in Kentucky?
Not really. You know, we probably need to tweak it in certain ways, but you know, when Congress can't agree on the time of day, I don't think they'll be able to agree on many tweaks at the moment.
Kentucky Newsmakers with Bill Bryant.
Good morning from WKYT News. I'm Bill Bryant, hoping you're having a nice weekend and hoping you're getting a chance to dry out. At least hopefully that comes soon here in the Commonwealth. Our guests today are both Kentucky State Senators, and they come from opposing parties. We're entering a competitive time here in Kentucky. This week's announcement by Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes that she is challenging U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell is fresh evidence of that. Many say it will be the most closely watched race across the nation next year, but it won't be the only one. Freshman Congressman Andy Barr will be defending his seat in a district where his party is in the minority, and many predict a colossal battle for control of the state legislature next year, especially on the House side. Right now, Democrats control the chamber by a margin of 55 to 45 after Democrat James Kay won a special election a couple of weeks ago. In the Senate, Republicans have a larger advantage, but the minority Democrats are often vocal and powerful. And joining us today to discuss the Kentucky political landscape, our State Senator Kathy Stein, Democrat of Lexington, and Republican State Senator Damon Thayer of Georgetown. Thayer also a member of Senate leadership, and Stein served in the House before winning her Senate seat. Welcome. We appreciate you both very much for being here today.
So glad to be here.
Well,
Great to be here, Bill.
We have an interesting time coming, certainly with the election and the fresh evidence, as we said, of that. We have a U.S. Senate race between the longest-serving senator in Kentucky history and Mitch McConnell, and statewide office holder, Democrat challenger Allison Lundergan Grimes. Senator Stein, you were there for Allison Grimes' announcement. Apparently an agonizing decision for her. In the end, she came out and said she's stepping up.
Of course,
tell us about that day.
Of course, it was a very difficult decision for her. Anytime that you take on Senator McConnell, who is known for the prodigious amounts of money that he could raise, and the sometimes ugly tone of some of the ads that he uses to go after his opponents, it was a hard decision. But she did it in the manner, she made her decision in the manner that she is known for. That is studying it, talking with her closest advisors, her family, and also talking with folks around the state with whom she worked when she was elected to Secretary of State. So she is taking this very seriously. She is putting together, of course, her real campaign team. And, you know, we're not having elections this year. This is the 1 year in every 5 years that we don't have any. But this election is going to take all the air out of the room starting now.
Well, there were reports, you know, that day when the announcement was held, and of course it was late in getting started.
Yes.
There were people, I saw you in the background, and Governor Collins and others pacing around waiting for the event to start.
She had to call her mother.
Well,
her mother
I mean,
did not know.
Well, this is the question. Is it true then that she decided then and there that she was going to do this?
She did. Her father, Jerry Lundergan, was in the room with us, and he said to the folks standing around him, he said, I don't know what she's going to do. And then, of course, she took the advice of the folks in the room and said, I will stick my neck out if you'll stick your neck out with me.
And with that, it was done.
And with that, it was done.
Well, Senator Thayer, the Republicans were quick to criticize the method of the announcement and that sort of thing, and with those delays and so forth. What do you make of Secretary of State Grimes' announcement this week?
Quite possibly the worst campaign rollout that I have ever seen. I've seen better announcements by candidates running for county judge executive. I think it shows that Secretary Grimes is unprepared for the job, unprepared for the campaign, not ready for prime time. Where is she? It's been almost a week now, over the 4th of July holiday, since she's announced for the U.S. Senate, and you can't find her. She was 30 minutes late for her announcement, which is pretty similar to the way that the leader of her party, President Barack Obama, does things. He's late for everything. So apparently she's going to be off to a similar type of campaign.
I knew it wouldn't be long.
Well, look, Democrats are going to have to wear Barack Obama like an anchor around their neck in every election, from county to state to federal, in the United States and here in Kentucky next year. They did it to us when George W. Bush was president, and we're going to do it to them. And more importantly, the public is going to do it to them, because Barack Obama's policies, which are supported by Allison Lundergan Grimes, are increasingly unpopular across this country. And we know after 2 elections that the man is very unpopular in Kentucky.
Bill, anyone who has seen Allison Lundergan Grimes run the Secretary of State's office in one of the most competent, efficient manners ever could not possibly have the opinion that my colleague here has about her.